session, the Hindu Editorial Analysis for Proficiency in English. Let us start the session with the snippets. The very first one, SC recalls its 2022 verdict, reopens case. Very simple words, verdict. When you see the word verdict, you have to think of the word judgment. Both mean the same. Verdict, judgment. But verdict also goes with at the time of elections. The public verdict, the electorate verdict, that has a different meaning. Sinwar's killing is a beginning of end of war. Look at the wording, beginning of end of war. It goes with the death of Hamas leader. BJP to contest 68 seats in Jharkhand. Simple words. Living with sirens and uncertainty, what Indians endure for a brighter future. There is one word here, endure. Endure means to suffer patiently or silently. You take, good morning to all of you, Nagesh, Pravalika and others also. When you suffer patiently, that is known as endure. Endure the pain, endure the hardships, tolerance, yes, you can say, with a lot of patience. Ravindra and Saudi put Kiwis in control. That means they must have played well. Here we have the main headline, US charges Indian for plot to murder Panan. Here there is a word plot. Nowadays, if you take bank exams, we have new exam topics. One of the exam topics, word usage. Why has this become an exam topic? Because English, we have a lot of words. At the same time, many words have many meanings. We have words with multiple meanings. Based on that, we have got the exam topic, word usage. This word usage, if you take a simple word like plot, plot, one meaning, story of a play or movie. What is a plot, we ask. Second one, plot means, in this context, a secret plan of a group of people to do something negative or illegal, plot to kill someone. And the third one, plot, a piece of land. One is the story of a movie or a play or a book. The second one, plot, goes with, it has a negative connotation. The plot to kill someone means what? A secret plan of a group of people to do something illegal or harmful. And plot, third meaning, it means land, a piece of land. This has a potential to come in the exam because they can use this word. Remember, word usage, they always take words with multiple meanings. And this has a potential. That way it is important. You have to focus and recollect. Delhi court grants bail to AAP leader. Grants bail. There is one word here, grant, that's a simple word. But bail has two different meanings. In this context, it's a legal word. Granted bail to someone to come out of the prison. But bail, imagine someone is in financial crisis or someone is facing a lot of hardships. Then a friend or a known person or a member of family may help that person to come out of that financial crisis. Then we say bail out. He has been bailed out of the financial crisis. That also, there it means a help to take someone out of a financial crisis, a different meaning altogether. Next we have Modi to attend BRICS summit in Russia next week. Summit has two different meanings. If you take a mountain, the peak of the mountain, we use the word summit, one meaning. Summit also means something like many countries meet at a particular place. It is like a convention or a meeting point or a summit. You can use any of these words. But when you use the top of the mountain, summit, you have to think of words like peak, apex, summit. All these words you have to. Here you have to think of conference. Yes, Prabalika, very good. Bihar Hooch tragedy, 10 more died, toll hits 35. I told yesterday also, Hooch. And there are words you have to recollect: country liquor, Iraq, adulterated liquor. Adulterated means not pure, made impure. Illicit liquor, very good, Pavan. All these you have to recollect. And toll has many meanings. Here it means the death toll, means the number of people died. We have a beautiful pic over here, full throttle. Throttle goes with bikes, vehicles, engines. You try to raise the accelerator. Then we use full throttle, means you try to do it, you want the pickup, then you go for full throttle. Full throttle. But what is the context here? A beautiful pic. It is Dal Lake in Kashmir. A tourist ventures. The other day we got the word venture, means to start an activity, to get into some field. Generally, I give the combination business venture. And here, ventures into means does something, the person has done something. The Dal Lake on a water scooter, one of Srinagar's popular water sport attractions. Today, many IT professionals especially have disposable incomes. Imagine, to survive every month they need 30,000, but they get 1 lakh. Remaining 70,000 they can spend on so many things. They have disposable income. Based on that, today many adventure sports, when I was young, adventure sports restricted to the Western world. But today in India also we have so many organizations which offer adventure sports. Under adventure sports we have, exactly, Pavan, very good. We have skydiving and scuba diving, mountaineering, trekking, and water scooter. All these things come under adventure sports. Some are terrestrial, some are aquatic, some are aerial. Under aerial adventure sports, you have hang gliding, skydiving, flying. All these come under aerial adventure sports. Aquatic, you have surfing, windsurfing, sailing, scuba diving, all these, paragliding. Yes, very good, Nagesh. A beautiful pic. What do we have here? Alteration of state anthem sets off spat between CM and Tamil Nadu governor. Here we have an important word, though we have got a few times. What is that word, spat? Spat means argument over something that is not that important. You have an argument, you have a dispute regarding something, but that something is not that important, not an important matter, rather a trivial matter. Then we use words like, yes, Murthy, very good, spat, row, conflict, vendetta. Related words, I appreciate that. Insignificant, exactly, not a significant one, insignificant. Uddhav Sena refuses to hold seat-sharing talks with Maharashtra Congress President. Related to politics, Jammu and Kashmir Cabinet resolution presses for statehood. There are two words over here. One is presses, the other one statehood. Press, you all know the regular meaning, you press something. But here press means to stress, to demand. Presses for something means to demand for something. And what is the other word? We also say pressing problem, means urgent problem. And presses for statehood, but resolution. Resolve is a verb form. Resolution is a noun form. We always talk about New Year resolutions. You know about New Year resolutions. On the eve of the New Year, December 31st night, and the transition period, people take a lot of resolutions. But what is the problem with New Year resolutions? They follow for 1 week, 1 month maximum. After that, back to square one or back to the pavilion. Means what? Back to the starting point. Imagine someone tells himself, this year I'm not going to drink coffee or tea. I will give up tea, or I'll give up smoking. 1 week, okay. 1 month, okay. But after that, back to square one. The New Year resolutions are known for that. Saini fulfills poll promises of dialysis for kidney patients. Here, fulfill means to complete. Fulfill your duty means complete your duty. Fulfill your promises means honor your promises. Implement, walk the talk. Very good. Who is this? Pawan. I appreciate Pawan. Pawan Kumar. It means walk the talk. Exactly. And at the time of elections, all these parties, they go to the public and they promise as part of manifesto. And once they come to power, obviously they have to implement. The context is that. Opposition leader DMK allies condemned distorted rendition of state song. A few important words are there. Allies one, condemn another, distort another. A rendition, one more. See, one headline, so many words. And condemn means what? Publicly criticize, condemn, and is silent. Allies, when it comes to political parties, 2 or 3 parties, they join hands together, then we say they are allies, friendly association. And if at all they form a government, then we say coalition government. And distort means to spoil something. Usually it goes with images, distorted image. It goes with designers as well. Here, song, distorted song means what? A rendition of some song. A rendition here means to sing the song, a rendition. So that song hasn't been sung properly, then distorted rendition of the song. Distort means to spoil the shape of something or the originality of something. Of state song, based on that some row, fire at Kolkata hospital, patients move to safety. See, when you read the headline, casual reader does not see anything over there. Fire at Kolkata hospital, patients move to safety, or patients evacuated to safety. But a smart learner, the moment he or she sees the word fire, thinks of the phrasal verb, break out. Break out means to start suddenly. We use a phrasal verb, break out. A fire broke out in the city last night. And thinks of inferno. Inferno means a violent fire that engulfs many buildings. Inferno. And you should also think of the word rehabilitation. Very good, Nagesh. Evacuation, all these words. That is being a smart learner. 2 minutes we have to complete headlines part. Supreme Court paves way. This is an important expression. Pave way for something. Means provide the path for something, show the direction for something. Pave way for. Remember, phrases are very important. For what? Trial against. We have got so many times trial, trail, you have to recollect. Uttarakhand CM receives a draft of rules for implementing UCC or UGC. What is it? Uniform Civil Code, UCC. 5 accused in UP killing sent to 14 days judicial custody. And here, accused, I have given so many times, a case has been filed, then you have to think of words like plaintiff, defendant, trial, accused, and also you have to think of words like innocent, acquitted, guilty, convicted, and also alibi, false evidence, verdict, judgment, all these words, accused, and judicial custody. Imagine someone has been arrested and kept in the police station, then we use the word detain. Detention, noun form, detain, verb form. But here, judicial custody. 5 more held in Siddiq murder case. Police say they provided the weapons. It goes with assassination of someone. This is the last one. Then we'll go to the editorial. With Maoists acknowledging 7 additional deaths, Chhattisgarh gunfight toll hits 38. This goes with the death toll related to Naxals, Maoists getting killed. Congress begins reorganization of party in Odisha after assembly polls drubbing. There is one important word here, drubbing. Drubbing means to beat someone, to thrash someone, then we use word drubbing. Very good, Nagesh. All are related words. Wonderful. Now let us go to today's editorial. Let us start with the question, what is enrichment? Today's editorial is a bit complicated, not that easy to comprehend. You got to listen carefully. Comprehension skill, vocabulary, grammar consolidation, effective English, mini mocks, writing skill, vocab consolidation. Today, vocab consolidation have brought as an exercise. Means one side words, one side the other side meanings. So that way it will be in a way better than the regular presentation. Let us start with editorial vocabulary. What is the very first word over here? We always talk about fate, my fate, your fate. What exactly does it mean? Part of speech noun, the development of events beyond a person's control, regarded as determined by a supernatural power, what we call God. And based on this, there is a saying, what is it? Man proposes, God disposes. Have you heard of this any time? Man proposes, God disposes. Means we may plan something, but there is no guarantee it is going to happen. It all depends on one's fate. Fate. And example, the country's fate was sealed after years of political instability. Political instability, you have to recollect the word turmoil. Because of political turmoil for a long time, the future of that country has been sealed. Means there are no chances for progress. That's how you have to take. Synonyms: destiny, fortune, providence, inevitability. We don't use these words, but definitely you can consider fate means what? Destiny, fortune, choice, free will, autonomy, chance. Salient features, we say, that is adjective form. Salience, noun form. What does it mean? The quality of being particularly noticeable or important. Salient features mean important features. Salience means importance. Simple. One important, that word you have to remember. The salience of the issue became clear during the debate. During the debate, a particular point has become very important. The importance of that point came out at the time of the debate. That's what it means. Importance, prominence, relevance, significance, all familiar words now. Insignificance, inconsequence, unimportance, triviality. Trivial, not important, and rather silly. We use the word trivial issue, means too small to be considered. This is a new word we have got for the first time, expropriation. Have you heard of this any time? Expropriation, I feel we have got it for the first time. Part of speech noun. The act of taking property from its owner, often for public use or without fair compensation. Imagine I have property, not a familiar word. I appreciate your response, Nagesh and Pawan. Not a familiar word, and I have come across for the first time. There are other words like misappropriation. I'm going to write those words. But here, I have property, the government takes my property for public use, and it does not pay. Imagine, no compensation. In that context, we have to use this. Example, the government faced backlash for the expropriation of land from farmers. Imagine government has taken land from farmers, hasn't compensated. Obviously, people would protest. There would be backlash. Sentence talks about that. Seizure. Seize means what? To take something using force. Seizure. Boomerang has a different meaning. Boomerang means you do something perhaps based on that public use, you must have come up with that word, but boomerang means counterproductive. Here they are doing it deliberately. What is it? Not compensating. So we cannot use the word boomerang. Boomerang goes with a different context. Still, I appreciate you. Confiscation, an important word. Appropriation, important. Requisition, important. Antonyms: restoration, return, compensation, restitution. But based on this, I would like to give a few words. First, you have to know the noun form, confiscate. Then you have to think of the word smuggling and smuggled goods. Smuggled goods or goods being smuggled, we use a word contraband. Contraband. And all these go with customs officials. Customs officials, what they, poaching also, very good, aspirant. One more word you have to think of, wildlife, then we have to think of the word poaching. Customs officials, when they catch or seize goods that are being smuggled, then that act is, we also use the word confiscated. That is one important word. And the goods that are being smuggled, we use the word contraband. And imagine someone is smuggling parts of animals like shells or skin or claws, then we use poaching. We have to think of the word poaching. Poaching means what? Illegal killing of animals. All these are very important. And here we have, I thought of telling something based on expropriation. There are some words. This goes with government taking someone's property. But related, I would like to give a few important words. Imagine there is a manager in a particular company. He takes the money of the company illegal, without informing, in a way illegal. Then we use a few words like, first word, swindle. Second one, embezzle. There is one important idiom they have given many a time. Feather one's own nest. Have you heard of this? Imagine the manager has taken company's money illegally or without informing. Then we say the manager has swindled company's money. It is a case of embezzlement, or the manager has embezzled company's money, or the manager has feathered his own nest. Feather one's own nest, they have given so many times, very important editorial. And we also use a word, misappropriation. Misappropriation. Misappropriation also means the same, making money illegally, misappropriation of property. Lower level, imagine at home, every morning the maidservant comes, she takes a little sugar, a little tamarind, something of that sort. Then we use the word pilfer, and the noun form is a pilferage. That goes with maid servant. But companies also, some people, they may steal stationery, office stationery. That also comes under pilferage. See, based on one word, I could give so many words. Populist. Populist, part of speech noun, it can also be an adjective. A political approach that seeks to represent the interest of ordinary people, often against the elite. If you take a society, we have different layers. We also use the word rungs. Top we have elite, rich and famous, and here we have ordinary people or poor people, and this one is known as a grassroots level. If leaders try to work, gentry also you have to recollect, very good. If you take the leaders or the government tries to make grassroots level people happy, that is the policies and all those things, schemes, then we say populist schemes. Look at the example. The leader adopted a populist rhetoric. A rhetoric we have got many a time. A rhetoric means something that is said or written to persuade people. At the time of elections, these political leaders go and make statements, I will do this, I will do that, I will fight for you till the last breath of my life. All these things come under rhetoric. And we also use a word like cliche. Cliche or hackneyed expression means they say it repeatedly, they have said many a time. Populist rhetoric promising to fight for the common citizen. Demagogue is an important word. Who is a demagogue? A leader who stirs the emotions of the people for political benefit. It has a negative connotation. Nationalist is a positive word. Grassroots, that's what I was talking about. Anti-establishment means anti-government. Antonyms: elitist, technocrat, aristocrat, oligarch. Not exactly opposite words. Autocracy. The moment you see the word autocracy, you have to think of words like autocrat, despot, dictator, a familiar word, and tyrant, 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 tyranny. Auto, root word self. Yes, very good, Nagesh. Autocrat, despot, dictator, tyrant. Autocracy means what? Part of speech noun. A system of government by one person with absolute power. A person controls, and not on the positive side, negative side, we use words like despot, dictator, autocrat, tyrant, all these words. The country's shift towards autocracy led to widespread protests, obviously. Nobody wants a dictatorship, nobody wants autocracy. Synonyms: dictatorship, tyranny, despotism, absolutism. Antonyms: democracy, republic, pluralism, libertarianism. That's all about vocabulary from the editorial. Important words we have come across. Let us see, let us start with the question, what is this editorial about? The editorial discusses the 2024 Nobel Prize in Economics awarded to US economists Darren Acemoglu, Simon Johnson, and James A. Robinson. These three persons have been awarded 2024 Nobel Prize in Economics. It is about that. Why they have been awarded, when you read the editorial, you understand, obviously. The tone of the editorial is analytical and cautionary. Caution means, a word of caution means what? Telling someone to be careful. Cautionary. Be cautious means be careful. Let us see what the stimulus, obviously the stimulus has to be the award itself. What is the editorial stimulus? Fate of Nations on the 2024 Economics Nobel Prize. Fate of Nations means, here the three economists, they discuss institutions, not the regular institutions like autocracy, democracy. We are talking about different kind of institutions, and which one is good, which one is bad, which one is good in the long run, and based on the impact of colonialism, all these things have been touched. The 2024 Nobel recognizes the need for inclusive institutions. There are two types of institutions. One, inclusive. Today, if you take any developing country, we use expressions like inclusive growth. When you write the essay, descriptive English, do remember you have to use inclusive growth. These are all very important expressions. Inclusive growth means touching all the segments, all the sections of the society. Bureaucracy means officials, bureaucrats. The broad framework, you have to think, why have they been given? How many types of tones? Tomorrow or Monday, I will let you know there are different types of tones. I have to spend a lot of time on that. It's not possible to do it here. I have to spend at least 10 minutes to explain all the different types of tones. Who is this Ramakrishna? Any editorial that goes with awards, obviously have to think who has been given, why have they been given, what is their contribution, what is the impact of that contribution, what have they considered to come up with theories that go with their works, and in the long run, based on their work, what is good, what is bad. This editorial also more or less the same framework. The 2024 Economics Nobel Prize is an important one. Why? As it highlights what really matters at the end of the day for the long-term economic success of any country. It is an important one, this one, fishbone approach. Why is it important? Because it highlights something. What does it highlight? What really matters at the end of the day. Don't take literally. What really matters at the end of the day means what really matters finally, eventually, for the long-term economic success of any country. It is an important one because it highlights something. It highlights what Effective English classes. Who is this banking warrior? Okay. What what is important long term? Inclusive institutions are important. They highlighted that particular dimension. US economists Darren Acemoglu, Simon Johnson, and James A. Robinson were rewarded. Answer my question, which tense is that, and is it active voice or passive voice? It is past tense, passive voice. We awarded them, they were awarded something, passive voice. Were rewarded for their work on how the quality of institutions in a country can lead it either down the path of economic prosperity or abject poverty. If you remember, we got this word yesterday. Abject means what? Severe. I told yesterday also, the typical combination we say abject poverty. We have got it in today's editorial. So what does it mean? The sentence talks about they have been rewarded or awarded for their work. Their work is about what? How the quality of institutions in a country can lead the country either down the path of prosperity or negative side, abject poverty. There are two paths. Based on the institutions, the country can go in the direction of prosperity or it may go in the direction of poverty. Either way, it is possible. It all depends on the type of institution. Their study was on the effects of colonialism. We have got so many times affect, effect. Affect is a verb, effect can be a verb, can be a noun. Here, impact. Colonialism. Sometimes students ask me, sir, what is this colonialism? Colonialism means one country rules some other country. Then we say this country is a colony of that particular country. We use the expression, one more word you guys have to know. What is that word? Imperialism. What is it? Imperialism. British imperialism, British colonialism, Spaniards, Portuguese, Britishers, Dutch people, they colonized many countries, means they took the countries into their control. Then we use the word colonialism. And we use expressions like post-colonialism, pre-colonialism. I don't know how many of you know, before the advent of, means arrival of Britishers, India was a very rich country. I don't know how many of you know. India was very rich, prosperous country, but later because of the policies, India had to suffer a lot. Their study was on the effects of colonialism on the quality of institutions and post-colonial growth of various countries. Impact of colonialism on quality of institutions. Here it is all about institutions, inclusive or extractive. There are two terms have been used. And also post-colonial growth of various countries. They found their observation, what have they found? Or what did they find? They found that countries with institutions that secured the rule of law, enforced the property rights, offered individuals a strong incentive to work, save and invest in the long run. This is a positive approach some countries have taken. What have they done? They have secured the rule of law and enforced the property rights, offered individuals a strong incentive to work, save and invest in the long run. This is on the one hand. On the other hand, countries with extractive institutions. As I said, the writer has used the two expressions, inclusive institutions, extractive institutions. Extract in a way negative, inclusive positive. On the other hand, countries with extractive institutions which gave rise to concentration of power perhaps, concentration of power and constrained political freedoms suffered deep economic pain. Other institutions, they opted extractive institutions. They suffered deep pain because they restricted the political freedom and the power got concentrated in someone's hands. Some have pointed to the authors and what is the criticism related to their work. This sentence talks about the criticism. Some have pointed to the author's lack of a substantial critique of the brutality of colonialism. They did not criticize the brutality of colonialism. They did not have the depth. That is one criticism leveled against them. and of painting too rosy a picture of development of Western institutions. Paint too rosy a picture, paint a rosy picture, means what? To make everything look quite beautiful, quite positive. Of painting too rosy a picture of the development of Western institutions. But salience of their analysis remains. Though they have been criticized, the importance of their analysis is intact. It remains. We have to accept, we have to consider. The institutions that the laureates talk about as crucial to long-term economic prosperity are nothing but the various rules, which could be either explicit laws or implicit social norms that govern human interaction in society. Now, these people have talked about institutions, and these institutions, what are the features of these institutions? The institutions that the laureates talk about as crucial, they said these institutions are important to long-term economic prosperity. What are those? They are nothing but the various rules for better governance. The various rules, which could be either explicit laws or implicit social norms that govern human interaction in society. Such institutions may also include laws that protect citizens from expropriation by the government. All positive. Here you come across what exactly they supported, which institutions they supported, what is the label they have given, inclusive institutions, what are the features. And two words, implicit means implied or indirect, explicit, direct. Protect citizens from expropriation by the government. The rapid economic growth of China and India since their economic liberalization in the late 1970s and the early 1990s respectively are good examples of countries prospering soon after a significant change in the nature of the institutions or the rules of the game that govern their economies. What it means, first it talks about the institutions. Then because of these institutions, because of liberalization, the writer provides us with two examples. One India, the other one is China. And they could prosper soon after a significant change in the nature of institutions or the rules of the game that govern their economies. Positive impact. Structural reforms that further improve the quality of institutions are thus crucial if these economies are to achieve living standards similar to those of high-income developed countries in the West. Again, what is important, what is required? Here this sentence says, structural reforms, all these come under structural reforms. Structural reforms that further improve the quality. Further, F-A-R-T-H-E-R, farther, that talks about distance. Here further means what? In addition to. Further improve the quality of institutions are thus crucial. If these economies are to achieve, these economies have to achieve the standards of the West. And these changes, the structural reforms are important for these economies to achieve the standards that match the standards of the Western world, are to achieve living standards similar to those of high-income developed countries in the West. I have already given many a time two terms which are very important. One Occidental, the other Oriental. What is the difference? Occidental means Western world, Oriental, Eastern world. And if you take Western world, usually we use affluent countries. Affluent means what? Rich countries. Oriental countries are not affluent countries. So these Oriental economies have to struggle to meet the standards of the Western countries. And all these structural reforms and inclusive institutions will definitely, in the long run, take them, and these economies can reach those standards. That's what it says. Notably, the Nobel also comes at a time when existing institutions around the world are under the significant threat of being destabilized. What is the timing of this award being given to these people? Now, when you look around, many institutions are being threatened. Someone is trying to destabilize. How? By personality-driven populist movements. These are personality-driven populist movements will definitely destabilize inclusive institutions. There is a threat. It is worth noting that in their work, the Nobel laureates have classified democracy as an important inclusive institution. They have considered democracy an important inclusive institution that is good for long-term economic growth. They felt democracy, destabilize means make someone or something, disturb someone or something, or threaten stabilized. Destabilize means to disturb, to spoil its whatever it has. However, the rise of illiberal democracies with protectionist economic policies in recent years shows that liberal institutions that work for the upliftment of the many and development not just for a few are now under severe threat. Today we have different ideologies, liberal ideologies, illiberal negative. They are trying to pose a threat for liberal democracies, and obviously what is the difference? Liberal institutions work for the development of many, not just a few, and not just for a few. They are now under severe threat. A democracy driven by short-term populist policies can be as extractive as. Extractive means an autocrat, despotism. And if you take a democracy driven by short-term populist policies, that is not a good thing. Short-term populist policy is not a good thing. It is nothing but it can be as extractive as an autocracy that serves the interests of a narrow elite that is close to people in power. Democracy is good, but democracy with leaders or driven by short-term populist policies, it is as good as autocracy, not a good thing. And it will not serve a lot of people. It will serve only a few people, elite group, and this group is close to those who are in power. It ends on that particular note, I suppose. Yes, try to answer these questions to improve your comprehension skill. What is a key factor highlighted by the 2024 Nobel Prize in Economics that determines a nation's long-term economic success? Long-term economic success, what is important? Natural resources, technological innovation, population growth? No. The quality of institutions. What is this quality? The institutions have to be inclusive, not extractive. According to the editorial, which of the following is a characteristic of extractive institutions? This is on the other side. Inclusive, positive, extractive, negative. What are the features? They concentrate power and limit political freedoms, yes. Ensure property, not related to property. Inclusivity, no, you cannot. And innovation, no. What is the answer? Extractive institutions concentrate power in a few people's hands and limit political freedoms. Answer is A. How do the laureates view democracy in relation to long-term economic growth? They felt it is good, democracy is good, thinking from long-term perspective point of view. Democracy is irrelevant. You cannot use a negative word because it is not extractive. It is considered an inclusive institution that fosters growth. They have considered democracy inclusive institution that fosters, develops growth. Positive words you have to look for. More harmful, ridiculous. So, which countries are cited? Cited means quoted as examples of experiencing economic growth after institutional reforms. After liberalization, institutional reforms, two countries have been prospering. What are those two countries? One is India, the other one is China. So what is the answer? China and India. What threat to inclusive institutions is highlighted in the editorial? Not related to trade, not related to environment, not related to technology. Personality-driven populist movements pose a threat to inclusive institutions like democracy. So what is the answer? C is the answer. Let us go to error location. Celebrities showed their childlike side yesterday as most of them turned up wearing cartoon t-shirts for the screening of the latest animated film in town. There is an error here. You cannot say childlike. For that you have to say childish. Childish side. What we need an adjective. What is the adjective form of that word? Childish, childish behavior. And we cannot say childlike. That is the error. Next one. The study focusing exclusively to critically ill children found that children with chronic illnesses, chronic means long lasting, especially respiratory illnesses, are most likely to develop influenza that requires critical care. There is a clue for you. What is the clue? Focus. The verb focus takes a preposition on. Focus on something, not to something. So what is the error? It is related to prepositions. Focus on something. Exactly. Sugar sweetened drinks does not pose. You don't have to go beyond. What is the subject here? Sugar sweetened drinks. There is a noun phrase and the subject. I always tell students when the subject is a noun phrase, subject can be a word, a phrase, or a clause. Usually a phrase. The last word is a key word. What is the last word here? Drinks. The verb has to agree with this particular word. Drinks plural, then we cannot use does. We have to use do not. Drinks do not, that is a correct expression. It is related to present tense negative form. As simple as that. Let us go to effective English. We have 5 idioms. You have to get all the 5 correct. These are all very important. Dark horse, a person or a candidate with doubtful chances of success. At daggers drawn, openly hostile. Imagine 2 actors, 2 writers, 2 politicians always publicly, openly criticize each other. Then they are always at daggers drawn. We say that. Elbow room, space in which one can move freely. That could be physical. That could also go with workplace. Do what you can, what you want to do comfortably. El Dorado, an imaginary land of plenty and prosperity. A land where no problems, everything is in plenty and all are prosperous. That is impossible. That is known as El Dorado. I usually say, thanks for being with me till the fag end of the session. What does it mean? Last part of something. BDECA. Wonderful. All the 5 correct. You should be extremely happy. You are good at English. You have to take it that way. This is about the editorial we got yesterday. There are 4 ideas. The editorial discusses a court ruling against Google, forcing the company to allow third-party app stores and payment options on its Android platform. Why this decision, court injunction? This decision comes from a legal case with Epic Games, which began when Google removed Fortnite from its Play Store. Second idea. The ruling aims to reduce Google's, what is the objective of the ruling? The ruling aims to reduce Google's control over the app market and could lower costs for app developers and users, consumers. Third point. Fourth point, Google argues this change may harm user privacy, but the ruling is seen as a step towards more fairness in the tech industry. Now here, when you go through these 4 ideas, rephrase, write in a simple form, but write 4 sentences. That will help in the long run. Let us go to the words you got yesterday, a new format. You have the words, you have the meanings, you have to match. Injunction means what? A legal order. So answer is C. A legal order that prevents someone from doing something. And juncture means what? Point of time. E. Reveal means disclose. A. Hefty means huge. B. What is the last one? Dismantle. Take something apart. CEABD. That's all for today. I hope you guys have got enriched. And thanks for being with me till the fag end of the session. Have a nice day. Have a nice weekend. I'm sure some students are going to take the exam, IBPS PO prelims. I wish you guys all the best. Remain positive. Go with a positive attitude. Answer all the questions with a cool mind. Mindset is very important. That's what I'm telling. Who is this? Rohit. And do remember, while taking the exam, you should not get agitated, you should not panic. Sometimes the paper easy, moderate, difficult. If it is really difficult, tell yourself it's a tough paper. If it is tough for me, it is tough for everyone. And try to give your best. And never ever don't panic, because once you panic, you cannot answer easy questions. And also do remember your selection of questions, how you go about, that also matters a lot. You have to decide what is important, what is not important, what can be done, what cannot be done, what to touch, what not to touch. Be smart that way and give your best. All the best. Do well. Thank you very much.